To quote my boy Crunk, it's all coming together. We've given Gege a lot of shit over the last few months, I would say the last year, especially due to the excessive level of glazing that seems to be happening in regards to just Sukuna just shrugging shit off. Like things that should kill any other type of anime antagonist, my man is just like, nah, dog, I got one more in me. But I think this chapter really does solidify the mentality of a character like Sukuna, because the entire time, and I'm where we're gonna go down. Well, no, we gotta go down, and then we gotta go back up, and we gotta go down to the crawfish scene, because I think this really does go over a lot of people's heads in regards to this, because the argument between the both of them in regards to catching the crawfish or the crayfish is the fact that, Sukuna's just like, nah, dog, yours is tiny. Like, I clearly won because I caught the bigger one. And Yuji's like, yeah, you might have caught the bigger one, but the smaller one is rare because it's a Japanese crayfish and they have like a special color. And what I mean by that is when you look at, first, let's look at an American crawfish. When you look at an American crawfish, the American crawfish is red. And in Japan, you do have these types of crawfish as well, where they have a red exterior where they're pretty much like a lobster. But in Japan, they actually have unique ones. And what I mean by unique ones is that they actually have, while they do have these red ones, such as in America, they have red ones such as this. They also have extremely rare ones like this silver bluish one, right? And what Yuji is basically trying to explain to Sukuna is the fact that, yeah, yours is bigger, but you're not paying attention to the rarer ones. Like being able to basically explain the fact that all you care about is being the strongest, and all you really do care about is being that guy. But being the strongest and being that guy really doesn't mean shit if you don't take time to look around and appreciate some of the individuals that are around you, which kind of leans into Yuji's entire mentality when he became a Jujutsu sorcerer, which was his mentality was, I got to use my strength and my powers to basically protect the people around me that are most important to me. And then he's had to basically sit back and watch, not really sit back and watch, but he's had to watch all of these people that he cares about die, essentially, in this war, or in the games, or in this just cataclysmic event that is currently happening towards the end. And Sukuna doesn't acknowledge that. Like, he doesn't understand why he should be paying attention to something that is tinier than itself. But it goes back, and this is why, like, you got to go forward, then you got to turn around, and then you have to head back, because Yuji is kind of taking him through just this mental, it's not really mental gymnastics, but he's walking him down a certain path to see whether or not he can gauge the actual type of person that Sukuna, in all honesty, is. Such as when they first step out of the train station and he sees the statue of the Demon Lord's dance, and Sukuna doesn't even look in his general direction. He doesn't care. Like, it doesn't matter to him in any way, shape, or form. It's just a thing, which is in regards to how he essentially treats humans around him, where the humans around him are just things. For the most part, they're just things that he can walk around and effectively just ignore. And for him, he's essentially inside of this domain expansion trying to figure out why it is that Yuji's trying to walk him through just this, basically a talk no jutsu from fucking Naruto. Like what is it that Yuji is trying to essentially impart upon him in regards to a lesson that he is trying to teach him? And Sukuna's not understanding the lesson. The lesson is essentially, hey, human beings are rare. And if you took time and you actually paid attention to them and you stopped chasing the power, you'd probably be able to appreciate the world around you, because for the most part, there is nobody more bored with his state of being than Sukuna himself. The entire idea as to why he's basically fingers is because he got bored with being the strongest, put all his powers into his fingers and killed himself so that he can be reincarnated in another age where it was a little bit more interesting, because he essentially gotten bored of the past. And here he is basically about to end up in the exact same situation he had ended up in before, which is essentially he's going to end up being the strongest of the age again. He is going to get bored. He is going to basically lop off his fingers and then send them into the future again to be a menace for the next generation of Jujutsu sorcerers, and the cycle will constantly repeat. Which is why Yuji's trying to walk him through basically the life that he had to live growing up, showing him, maybe there's a little bit of wiggle room where you can kind of figure out, you know, that you don't have to be a piece of shit, basically. That you can actually be a person that can, and it does sum it up here, where he says, I used to think that until recently that understanding and fulfilling one's role was what it meant to live. And if you die fulfilling that role, I thought you could say you had a proper death, but now I feel like that's not quite right. And we see all of the people that have defined his life that he looks at as his friends, and he also looks at as like his North Star and his grandfather, who have defined the type of person that he has become. But then you also see his mentors and his brother and like his other friends. Roles like walking the dog, providing for a family, none of that really matters. Even if there were no such roles, you just eat, shit, and sleep, or if you're bedridden with illness and you live life is disconnected from everybody else and leaves nothing behind, even if only small fragments of memories are drifting around a person's life, still holds value beyond memories that create their identity. It isn't about how you die. I just couldn't forgive someone who acted like that value didn't exist. And people aren't tools, so we aren't born with predetermined roles. Sukuna, I loathe you. I can never tell who's truly a good or bad guy. I might be the one who's wrong, so at least I wanted you to see and understand I don't feel anything, which is Sukuna's response, which goes back to what I just said. In the past, he was the strongest. He killed everyone. He didn't feel anything by being the strongest. So, powers in the fingers, lopped off fingers, killed himself so that he can reborn at some time in the future, and he can basically experience a completely new age to feel something. But he's still not feeling anything. He's just going through those motions again to end up at the exact same spot that he was in before. Just if you've accepted the decline of the town by saying, well, that's how it is, so what? As I thought, it's of no use. This is where I fucking love it, which is he pulls him into this domain expansion to try and see whether or not he can make him realize that being the biggest and being the strongest doesn't mean anything if you don't have people to walk down basically your path of life with. Like, yeah, you're the strongest, but you're alone. And that loneliness eats you up inside until you start lashing out and you start doing depraved shit in an attempt to feel something, in an attempt to feel anything. And he's just not feeling anything, which is one of the reasons why he says, are you pitying me? And he is. Because of the person that Itadori essentially is, if Itadori felt as though he could save him, this was the moment that Itadori reaches out a hand in an attempt to save Sukuna's life, which is like, hey, come on over, dog. Like, you don't have to be this, but nigga, I have the power to kill you. Like, there's no more, the talk no jutsu is officially over. I have now realized that there is no saving you. Like, you are evil. You're locked into your path. And I'm going to give you your options. Your options are either you can release Fushiguro and return to me and I'll spare your life, or I will outright kill you in this domain expansion. And he is incredulous at that. And I love how it's like a wounded animal who's been cornered, and now he's essentially just lashing out, and he's lashing out in this domain that he does not understand, because chances are he's not going to escape from this. This is his end. And I know a lot of people are like, damn, Itadori really killed him off screen, but this is his end. Because in this domain, Itadori can strike at the wall between both Sukuna and Megumi's soul. This is where the King of Curses stops. This is where he just ceases. This is where he essentially passes on. And I'm really hoping that if Yuji does have he gives it a name to his domain expansion, I'm hoping that it's Benevolent Shrine. Like, I know that people had like a bunch of other names that they were going for. I can't really remember. I'd have to go look them up. But I'm really hoping that his is the inverse of what Sukuna's basically is. Where Sukuna's is basically Malevolent Shrine, I'm hoping that it's the Benevolent Shrine in regards to Buddha and helping somebody pass on to the other life. Please let this be the end of this man. Because I feel as though, like, at this point in time, we've hit him with everything. If this fails, like, you might as well just end JJK on Sukuna dying, chopping off his fingers, and then starting over his madness in a completely new age. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on the whole crawfish thing that was going on in JJK. We're going to be doing a lot more of these because I really do enjoy, and I spend most of my time reading manga. So we're going to be talking about like a whole lot more mangas, just going through them, introducing people to them. But I absolutely love Jujutsu Kaisen. I was one of those people that I watched the anime, I got caught up, and then I instantaneously went and started reading the manga. And now I'm caught up on the manga. And now we're here talking about it, and it's going to be super fun. But yeah, let me know what you guys think if you're reading JJK, especially the most recent chapter. Comment down below, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.